How's it going, man?
Hey man, it's going. I feel like it's been a little while, but seeing that we haven't pushed any of these episodes out, our listeners have no idea.
Yeah, they don't know. They'll find out. Oh, I mean, there is kind of a major gap. I mean, you said you haven't kept up with what's going on, but like, I don't think we recorded since like August, and then
Shit.
that was like 2 episodes. So it's pretty big, pretty slow. But
Yeah. We'll get there.
yeah,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. Life happens, you know.
Yeah.
So we're back for another episode of I forgot what we called it. James bonding with James. James bonding.
I think we're going
Bonding over bond,
bonding over bond.
something like that.
Or James bonding. I don't know. Maybe by the end of this series,
We are doing
will
a lot
actually
of-
have a title.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of bonding.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. and so, it's the third episode, so we're doing a third movie. It's going to be Goldfinger. I almost said Goldmember.
Yeah. You have no idea how many times, like when I went to watch this movie on, they now put them back on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I know. I was going to mention that. Like, thank God.
It was crazy because I remember watching them, early 2024, so maybe like February, March, or, I at least saw most of them on there. And then right around the time that you're like, hey, let's start recording, I went back on and none of them were there. And I was like, oh man, yeah, that sucks. So then I had to, dust out the Blu-ray. I had to, flag down a box set, which, I'm still glad I bought it.
Yeah,
but
you did send me the box set. That's right.
It is so convenient to just turn it on, a streaming service. And, every time I kept going in there to, turn it on, because I did watch this movie in a couple spurts, just based off my schedule. But
you keep talking. I'm going to move my camera a little bit, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
But I did say that I was going to bring up that, paying for Dr. No and From Russia with Love kind of was a bummer, and I was thankful that finally it's back on.
Oh, you don't have the box set?
I don't have the box set, so you're telling me I just need to buy the box set, and then I don't have to bitch about anything, right?
Yeah, well, that actually kind of blows my mind that you don't have the box set.
Yeah, I do have a Daniel Craig set minus the No Time to Die.
Yeah,
I got all those in like 4K. So like, I got the ones that matter.
Right. Well,
okay. So
we're jumping. We're jumping right now.
We are jumping. So, yeah. So, what the fuck, man? Hello. Technical difficulties. Wouldn't be Gin and Sofa without not knowing how electronics work.
Well, maybe by the end of the series, we will also upgrade our electronics. We are still, at least I am still in the early days of this remote recording. So,
same. I mean, this is the only ones I've done are with you, so this is the third time I've done it.
There you go. I feel special. Yeah.
So I need to get there.
But I kept in my mind saying Gold Member, which obviously is an Austin Powers movie and not a classic Bond. But I would just type in Gold. I'm like Gold Member, and I'd hit Gold, and then I'd see Goldfinger, and then like I'd have this like mental like, wait, which one is Austin Powers?
Wait, which one am I actually watching? Yeah, exactly.
Because, I don't know, I feel like Goldfinger actually sounds more inappropriate than Goldmember.
Yeah. Maybe they're like, man, I don't know how to make this more inappropriate, because it's already pretty...
We'll get there.
Weird. But anyway. So I will want to jump into the drink that, unfortunately... I didn't make.
I do. Which it's actually really funny because, like, just thinking about the fact that you didn't make it, like, I told you I was on board to try some of these concoctions, And
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
you know, I definitely had to go to the liquor store to get cognac. And, you know, I did have some champagne in my fridge, you know, so it wasn't too crazy, but like definitely, you know, these drinks so far, you know, it's just like, hey, you need a little bit of this that you don't have, and then you need a little bit of that you don't have. But I did make this kind of silly looking, like it does look gold. So you know,
it does.
yeah, it definitely has a golden hue.
It kind of looks like a float.
Well, a little bit. So you know, since you're not drinking, I'm gonna go ahead and say what's in it, and then I'll take a drink, and I'll let everyone know. But so it's got cognac, and I just used I didn't use like Remy Martin or anything fancy. I just used the hey, go to the liquor store and you know, get what great grandpa used to drink, you know?
Yeah. Old school. The bottom shelf.
It wasn't bottom shelf.
Can you
but
get
like,
bottom shelf cognac? Is that a thing?
So my understanding is cognac is a more refined version of brandy. So generally, if you're getting like bottom shelf, you're just getting brandy, you know. But it's cognac, a couple bitters, you know, a couple dashes of bitters in there.
Yeah.
Simple syrup, lemon juice, champagne.
How much champagne was in that? I was like,
yeah. So I made a double.
okay.
However, a standard drink was 2.5 ounces of champagne. So I cracked a bottle. Now, in all fairness, it was a bottle of Brut. You know,
did you get that Andre?
Yeah, I got the Brut. And it didn't even come with a cork. It just has the little screw
top. Yeah.
Yeah. So. It'll probably be good. It'll probably sit in my fridge for a couple days,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and then the final ingredient was.
Orange sherbet.
Sherbet is sherbet, but okay. There's no R in
sherbet.
Yeah. So that is it. Yeah, sherbet. Anyway.
Yeah.
That is an interesting.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little apprehensive to drink this drink. And I said I made a double because, like, really, maybe I make a double because, you know, I like to drink a little bit when we come on when I come on the podcast. But also, I didn't necessarily want to waste all the ingredients. And
it's like a splash of champagne. I think I'll just do 2 splashes, please.
Right.
You know.
So
I want you to take that sip then. Take the sip. I want to. Oh. A big sip. Is it creamy? I'm not gonna lie, your face is not selling it, man.
Okay. So it is a little creamy. The cream right now is kind of sitting on the top.
Mm-hmm. Little mustache action?
Do I?
No.
So
a little hair there to like catch it, you know?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Karis isn't a big fan of the mustache, or I would look like a 70s porn star.
I think most women aren't fans. So.
Which honestly is probably a good thing. You know. So I'm so indifferent. I've got this weird aftertaste, so I'm gonna go ahead and take another taste before I make a decision.
Yeah, why not? Do that. Take another one. Take another taste.
You know, I think it's the champagne that's throwing me off. So like,
the Brut.
Like I like brandy. I like cognac. You know, bitters. We throw bitters and everything. Simple syrup. Yeah, lemon juice. Who doesn't like lemons? And the sherbet isn't bad in this, but I think it's the champagne.
You think
What's
it's bad champagne or?
Well, I mean, it could be the fact that I'm drinking something called Brut, but what what
Brut
is
is a
the
style of the champagne, by the way.
okay? Well, then I guarantee
I'm just letting
it's.
you know that it's not. It's just
Oh,
the.
I thought it was a brand. I am not a champagne connoisseur, you know. So I
Okay.
apologize if I come off
Yeah,
uncouth.
it's definitely just a
Like a region,
no, not a region. How do I explain it?
a type.
Yeah, it's just it.
All
I
right,
got
so
power of Google right here, so
and
if you
while you're doing that, if you could refresh my mind, what is the not my hole or not the hole for me as far as the drink scale?
two.
All right, I'm gonna give it two because what one is you're not gonna finish it.
I think you do finish it. It just takes you too long to finish.
And I've always been able to power through pretty well. I'll give it a two. And as far as ranking it based off the other drinks, yeah, definitely at the bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was expecting like this to be better than at least the what was the one that the beat one we made.
You know, maybe it's just been like what did we give the beat one though?
What about it?
No, what did we rank it?
Oh man, I have to listen back. I don't. I think it was better than Doctor
You didn't
No.
you didn't write
But I
it
mean,
down?
I don't write things down.
Oh man.
That calls for organization, man. I don't know. I definitely think it was better than the Doctor No. I don't even remember what was in the Doctor No.
Um no, that Dr. No fucked me up. It was whiskey.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to take a potty break to powder my nose and fucking puke my brains out. But you know. No, I don't know. Honestly, like part of me is like I do wish you would have had this drink, you know, just
I
because
know, I'm sorry, bud.
no, I'm not shaming you or anything. I'm just saying, just because it's not my hole, doesn't mean maybe you would have
Maybe it
enjoyed
is my hole, you know.
Yeah. You know, and also the other fun thing about this is you and I tend to, even though we'll follow the directions, you and I tend to
Do a little bit different.
yeah, a little smidge here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is something. Maybe it's the champagne. There is something that's not sitting right with me. Yeah.
Hey,
So
it was different. I will say,
hey, I tried it.
yeah, you tried it. Hey,
Yeah.
it's better than me, I guess.
Right.
The Red Grant had habanero bitters, Campari, beetroot syrup, red vermouth, and whiskey.
Yeah,
And you know I use Fighting Cock.
Yeah, and I used Whistle Pig, and I don't remember that being a terrible drink.
Do you think it might be the cognac you used?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. So like, I do enjoy Hennessy. I didn't want to spend the $50-$60 to get a bottle of Hennessy, just because I haven't, drank as much brandy recently because I've kind of got more into whiskey. But I don't know. I've drank. I drank. Okay, I've drank quite a bit of brandy in my days, and like bottom barrel brandy. It's all like brandy's not very fancy, So
Yeah. Well,
I don't think it's. Obviously, I'm not talking about producer brandy, but no, I don't think it was the brandy. If anything, it could be the champagne. And again, I'm not the biggest champagne guy, so maybe it's that. Maybe that's what's throwing me off.
So just maybe. I mean, because it says Brut is it is actually the most popular type of champagne.
Okay.
It is it's so they're classified by their sweetness.
Okay.
Brute is dry, raw, unrefined. Just the way I like it.
Sure.
So yeah, very low in sugar. So it tastes dry.
Which is good because I feel like this drink was nothing but sugar. You know, when I kept adding things, you know, I was waiting
you
for
added simple syrup to a thing that had sherbet in it. That's the crazy part.
I was waiting for something that was kind of gonna like cut all the alcohol, and when I was mixing the ingredients, I never really got there. You know, because it's like, hey, add some cognac. I'm like, okay, here's some cognac, and they're like, hey, you know, throw some bitters. You throw bitters. A little bit of lemon juice and simple syrup, and I guess everything else was liquor, and then I guess the sherbet, but...
I guess, but clearly it didn't work, so it's the worst one.
I would... Since I'm the only one ranking it right now, I would definitely put it at the bottom. I would even go back to that fucking... sweet drink, the Dr. No, the one that, you know, really put me under the weather. Because that was tasty. That
clearly, you thought it was great.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, that's done. And we're back. Mike, you want to go ahead and take the reins on the Goldfinger movie?
Yeah, so
thing. Just go for it.
All right, yeah. So, like Zach said, we watched Goldfinger, and so this one starts out with James Bond blowing up a narcotics lab, and out in South America, flies out to Miami. While he's in Miami, he gets a job to rendezvous, spy on a gold smuggler. He finds out that this gold smuggler has been cheating in a game of gin rummy.
Do you want? I know you're in the zone, but like, what if I wanted to say something? Are you okay with me interjecting?
Go ahead, brother.
Two things. One was sorry, I'm gonna take off the noise canceling. It's kind of like muffled. The Fontainebleau, I can't remember the hotel.
Yeah,
it's featured in the Marvelous Miss Maisel, the show on Prime. I watch all that with Brandy.
Okay,
anyway, it was one of those like when they were like in the show that was like set in the 50s, and she was like a comedian, and like that was like the biggest fucking hotel, like it was glamorous, and it was just kind of funny to see because I was like, what fucking hotel is this in Miami? I've been to Miami, I don't remember things like this, and I was like, oh okay, I guess it was very, very of the times, you know,
right?
And the second thing is, yeah, he was cheating, and I just couldn't get over the fact that it looks like you right now with your AirPod just kind of sticking out like that, and this guy didn't notice his fucking wire, like he's just like and I'm like, how do you not see this guy?
Well, the way they set it up, it looked like he was just listening to like a Walkman, or at least that's what, you know. But then I'm like, wait, this is the 60s. They didn't have fucking Walkmans.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, so it was crazy. But so James Bond decides to let himself into this Goldfinger. The guy was Goldfinger. Lets himself into his hotel room. Finds out that his girlfriend has like binoculars and is calling in the cards. There, James Bond effectively blackmails Goldfinger. I think he fucks his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then...
Classic Bond move.
Yeah, classic Bond. You're cheating, Jim.
Hey, you're poor, and I'm fucking your girlfriend.
Yeah.
The double win.
So then, James Bond goes to get more champagne because the current champagne is greater than 38 degrees.
Oh, yes. I do like that he was showing some not couth, but aloofness, I guess you'd say. I don't drink Dom Perignon 63 unless it's below 38 degrees. You know, like
he came off like a pretentious asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm gonna say. So while he's getting his
also, did they not say don't go to your room? They're waiting for you. Oh, this is before. No, this is before. Sorry, this is at the narcotics part. Because he went with that chick, and then he got attacked, and he was like, "All right, I gotta go." Shocking.
Yeah, we'll get into that one a little later.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's getting the 38 degree.
Dawn, and then he gets whacked in the head. Wakes up, and he goes and he finds out that this girl that he banged is covered in gold paint, and she's dead. So then he hops a plane, goes to London. Finds out, about this Goldfinger. They have another rendezvous on the golf course. There he meets the henchman, Goldfinger's henchman, something called an odd job.
Random
in
task.
his random, special ability is he's got this metal laced rim hat, and he can fucking cut people's heads off with it, effectively kill them. He cut a fucking statue. Well, irregardless, so let me step back. The reason why M sent Bond out to kind of spy on Goldfinger is a gold smuggler, and they don't know how he's doing it. Right. So then they follow him from England to Switzerland, and it turns out that his Rolls Royce that he's driving around in is actually pretty much all the body is gold, and they're like melting it down. And that's how he's getting 2 tons of gold at a time out of England into Switzerland. Well, while he's out there spying on Goldfinger, he runs into something called a Tilly. And he thought she was trying to shoot him, but turns out she was trying to shoot Goldfinger, and just a really bad shot. So then later...
Very Harry Dunn of her. You're a horrible shot. That's a Dumb and Dumber. Sorry.
It's okay. It went over my head. But, so later, Bond and this Tilly gal roll up. They end up
Is it this?
I don't know words right now. No, they never got there. Well, and we'll get to that. But so later they meet up when they're in the woods spying on Goldfinger's I don't know, what would you call it? Like factory, lair.
Yeah, I was gonna say manufacturing.
Yeah, where they were.
I don't know.
Where they were melting all the gold.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, Tilly's gun trips an alarm. Now they're fighting against the Chinese.
But
Oddjob comes,
gun
kills Tilly.
Tripped the thing because... Well, we'll get to that later, I guess. I want to talk about that, but yeah. So,
Bond wakes up, and he's strapped to a gold board, and there's a laser... pretty much pointing at the middle of them,
top of their head,
and it's effectively moving up. They turn it on, it's moving up. It's going to come in half, and James Bond, kind of in a Hail Mary attempt, throws out something that he had heard while he was spying on them. Something called the
Grand Slam.
Operation Grand Slam. And then, from there, somehow it gets James Bond out of it. James Bond then gets tranquilized, wakes up, he's on a plane. The pilot is Pussy Galore. We will definitely get into that. And then Bond's going out to Knoxville, Tennessee. It turns out Operation Grand Slam is where they got this nerve gas, and they're going to gas Fort Knox in this nerve gas knocks people out for 24 hours.
Very effective. I mean, it happens in like half a second.
Sure.
Anyway, they're like, what is that, gas?
Or does it? So, turns out the whole plan is that Goldfinger is going to invade Fort Knox, and then he's going to set off an atomic bomb that makes the gold dirty, and then it's going to increase his gold value.
Irradiated.
And, yeah, I said dirty.
Yeah. Dirty.
Yeah.
Did he say uranium? I couldn't remember what he said. It was the isotope. I try not to nerd out on that dumb shit, but
If anything, I think he said plutonium. But they were big on plutonium back in the day.
That was it was much more hip to be plutonium based than uranium. Anyway.
Yeah. So they go through Operation Grand Slam, and turns out, plot twist, all these soldiers that got knocked out by this nerve gas didn't actually get knocked out by the nerve gas because they swapped it for non-toxic nerve gas, and Pussy Galore called the authorities. So they're ready. They then get into a shootout with Goldfinger's army and the, I don't know, is it National Guard, Army? I don't know.
Yeah, right. A force.
The bomb ends up, the bomb that was going to detonate ends up getting turned off before it detonates. Everyone thanks Bond. And then he's getting on a plane to be thanked by the president. Turns out it's Goldfinger hijacked the plane. And then Goldfinger goes to shoot Bond, shoots a window, and then in really bad CGI, he gets sucked out the window. And then Bond and Pussy Galore are able to land the plane into water that came out of fucking nowhere. We'll get into that.
They landed the plane. No, there was a dot on the radar.
Well, correction, they didn't land the plane. They ejected. The plane crashed into the ocean. Where the fucking ocean is in Tennessee, I don't know. But they crashed in the ocean. And then it ended with banging Pussy Galore while they were trying to find him. And that's my not so short summary.
Maybe they were going to Goldfinger's headquarters in Germany or wherever he's from, Austria, right? Maybe.
I'm sorry, but it seemed like they fucking took off, and then immediately Goldfinger, popped out.
I'll give you that.
And tried to shoot him.
I agree. Well,
crazy. Now, I will say this movie still it's carrying a tradition right now from the previous Bond movies that we've watched. It had some pretty outlandish explosions.
The plane itself exploding was ridiculous. It went to the water and it was like, yeah.
It had a couple crazy car crash scenes where, like, once that car is going down the hill, it just explodes.
It's astronomical. What? It's like it got shot with a missile. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna pick little things here and that I wanted to bring up. Try to do it chronologically through the movie, right?
Sure.
My first one was gonna be that. So Goldfinger's the enemy. This is It's interesting to me that this is he's not part of Spectre.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, because the first two clearly were trying to set up Spectre as a giant, as a thing. Dr. No, the revenge for Dr. No, and then like this guy has nothing to do with it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, peculiar diversion, I guess.
It almost felt like I know they threw this movie out. Like it literally said in the end credits of From Russia with Love, James Bond will be back in Goldfinger. But like it almost felt like this was kind of like thrown in out of order.
I mean, it did the same thing at the end of this. It said Thunderball, he'll return at Thunderball. I don't remember the intro to From Russia with Love, but this one felt like the with the lady in the gold in the background and the title screens felt more Bondy.
I was trying to think, did the first two have an actual like Bond song in the intro?
I was trying to think that too. I don't really remember, even though we saw it like a month ago.
Right.
I also think the intro was the intro to From Russia Love was lengthy because they're showing the Red Grant assassinating like the training and stuff.
Right.
This one was much more like snappy. Bond's breaking in. He goes and tries to smash a hoe, and then gets attacked, and he goes back to England. That was the cut to the beginning. Like very like maybe 5 minutes. I like that better. Like the other one was maybe 10, 15. Remember I think I said he didn't show up till like 18 minutes in or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, he from the intro, like we had Bond.
Yeah, he was there. So we already talked about the earpiece, and I wanted to mention her getting covered in gold. To me, it felt like this was the first movie where Bond's like actions, like every girl he goes after, they die.
Right.
Like he's got consequences. Like she died because he messed with her, and Goldfinger's trying to send a message. And then her sister, because he was like interfering with her plans, he made her trip the wire. He made her trip the wire because he grabbed her, and then they chased them both, and killed her. I don't think in the first two anybody really died because of him.
Right.
Yeah, this one was kind of like that, starting that trope of like every girl you touch, James, ends up dying kind of thing.
Okay, so you kind of alluded to it. So after he blew up the narcotics lab, he went back to his room and he tried to bang, what was she, like the receptionist?
I thought she was like a dancer. I don't know who she was. Yeah, she was like...
I don't know. She either worked at the hotel, she was somebody.
Oh, she worked at the hotel.
Yeah. He tried to bang her, and like she was in on like... somebody having a hit out for him. I just thought it was funny that he used her as a fucking meat shield.
He did, and I was surprised. Like, I thought the guy was coming with like an axe, and he like took her and like, whoosh, and I was like, man. But she got up later. I thought she got hacked. I was like, damn. But I was just funny because in the lobby, or when the explosion happened, the one guy he was talking to, I guess it was his contact, was like, hey, I wouldn't go to your room if I were you because they're waiting for you. They know who you are.
Right.
And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to try and fuck this girl anyway. And then he goes to his room and they attack him. And he's like, oh, shit. Like...
All right. So let's talk about that. I went on this deep dive. Mm-hmm. So Pussy Galore.
The name or just...
Yeah. Yes, the name. So like, I went on a deep dive and it got weird because I'm like, okay, is this one of those things where like, obviously this movie was filmed in the 60s.
64, yeah.
Yeah. So is this just one of those things where like, hey, since the movie came out, like, how like back in the early 1900s, the word gay,
it wasn't,
Yeah. There was nothing about anything, and there was no negative connotation. So I was like, maybe that's what pussy was. So I did a deep dive, which got weird because I couldn't get any like official. Everything was really like a Reddit.
You go incognito when you search for all this? Yeah.
Absolutely. I did. I didn't want my search history to get weird. So back in the day, it was a term from what if I'm on the right track, it was a term for like a cat, and then it derived from the word like puss, which meant like pocket. I don't know. But
okay. Yeah.
Okay. All you need to know is this was back in like the 1500s, and it became a derogatory term in the early 20th century.
Okay.
So that's like early 1900s.
It's pretty early.
So this movie came out in 1960. So again, you and I weren't born in 1964, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that pussy was a derogatory term.
At the time.
Pussy was, at the time that, they knew what they were doing when they named this character Pussy Galore.
And no one stopped them. That's the thing. No one stopped them.
You know what else is crazy? Per Amazon Prime, this movie is rated PG.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really... The name is the only thing. And I guess maybe guns, but like...
I don't know. There's guns. He's still, like... We'll also get into
13,
the fact
though,
that...
man. When did you see your first Bond movie? Okay. Yeah, probably around then.
I don't know.
Probably around then. Maybe
11?
earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, Die Another Day came out when we were 13.
I mean,
and I've seen more before that one. You know what I mean? Like,
I did.
If I'm basing it on the fact that I know I saw Die Another Day in theaters, I surely have saw the other Pierces, at least the other Pierce Bronsons, right? You know, like
right.
Pierce Bonds. And so, like, I was 13. You were 14. You old shit. So, like, they're about right, I guess. And those were way more.
I agree.
Way more.
But on the flippity flop, like, also, can we get into the fact that my boy Bond is just a tad bit rapey?
I was going to say, I have it written down in my notes right now. Pussy galore scene is questionable at best.
I mean,
and a tad bit. You mean full bore?
He's almost in. Connery Bond is almost in the same group as "Baby It's Cold Outside." This song.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like,
man, you watched the Key and Peele skit on that?
Did not age well.
Have you seen the Key and Peele skit on "Baby It's Cold Outside"? You should look that up. It's great.
Okay.
It's great. Yeah. Okay, so they start fighting. It was just so bad. It was, especially when he like lands on top of her and he's like, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just like,
no.
Yeah, there's a part of me that was like, pussy, I really hope you have a gun right now, because like
he gets a mace on you, dude. Yeah, fuck.
You know, like, I know they set up this idea of like Bond being this like charmer and, you know, like,
sure,
you know, he's definitely coming off right now as like a womanizer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, his charm is a thing, but then he goes, when it doesn't work, that's when it gets scary. when the charm doesn't work, things get, what are you doing, bro?
And you're just like sitting back, you know, I'm just sitting back watching this. You're just like, ooh.
I know you're
you
like,
know, and
this is okay in the 60s? What the fuck? Yeah, like, oh my God. Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like, obviously, you know, like, I'm nowhere near letting any of my kids watch these movies, you know, but then it's like,
PG-13.
Let's say that Calvin got into, you know, my son got into, you know, Bond movies.
Sure.
Do I have to like, you know, like have a cutoff?
I mean, there's a lot there's a lot of movies where, especially older movies, where things like this happen, racist things, rapist things, you know, and you got to be like, that was how bad the world was. Still bad, but it was way, you know, like.
Or maybe I just have to like have a talk with him
All right,
before
this
we
scene,
watch
you like
this
pause
movie.
it. All right, this scene, don't be like this guy. All right.
All right, son, this was the 60s.
I know,
You gotta understand,
yeah,
different times.
It's almost like you gotta watch Austin Powers. Because when he's unfrozen in the 90s, and you're like, Austin, this isn't the 60s anymore. You just can't go around trying to shag everyone. And it's like, oh, that's what it was, bro. Like,
and you know, the more that I watch these movies, I think we should bonus tack on the Austin Power movies for this series.
we should just call out all the references that they like, like or random task in this one, odd job.
Yeah.
But fun fact about random task, we can talk about that some other time. But do you know that story about him?
No.
He was apparently, I want to say, I don't know. I think it was a sex offender or he might have been a murderer. And he was off the grid until he took that job. And then someone watched Austin Powers and it was like, hold on a minute. And then he got arrested. I'm not even sure.
The random task guy?
Yeah, not odd job, the random task guy in Austin Powers. Yeah. I'm going to look it up for you. But, were you keeping count of, how many chicks?
Yes. Okay. I have been keeping. So right now, I've got Bond at 2 and a potential bang during this film.
Who's the potential?
Yeah. So he definitely banged pussy galore at the end. Maybe even in the barn. That
hopefully
that got weird.
It was consensual.
He definitely banged pussy, and then he banged Jill. He was going to bang that fucking hotel worker.
He was.
So
he's probably gonna bang Jill's sister too.
Yeah, but he. Oh, I guarantee you, and I almost felt like it was a wasted opportunity that they just killed her, because like. I don't know, that could have been our woman that he banged,
Wasted opportunity. I think it was more to show that, like, he's in over his head sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, it's funny because the movie does this shit, right? It does this with Jill and her sister, where it's kind of like, Bond just thinks he's, like, got this charm. Right. He's like, I'm just trying to slam. I'm not thinking the fact that she's in on this shit and this guy's going to kill her. Both of them.
Right.
And they both die, and you're like, oh man, maybe he's going to be like, ooh, I should ease up. But then he goes and does the thing.
Not even a little bit.
Then he goes to pussy and just like push up on her.
Yeah, but it worked on her. Yeah, but it worked on her somehow.
Man.
Yeah, because she ended up, flipping sides.
All right, here you go. You ready? This is the random fact from Random Test. All right, so in 2008, he was arrested on a connection to 1990 sexual assault after DNA evidence linked him to the crime. Found guilty to 7 years to life. 7 years to life. What a range. 7 years to life in California. While incarcerated, he was convicted of beating his cellmate to death and sentenced to an additional 27 years for voluntary manslaughter. But it shows that he got away for to 8 years until they saw the movie, and then they fucking were like, wait a minute. So off of the womanizer thing, I guess we can get on to, I wanted to bring up the fact that Q Branch way more expanded in this one.
Right.
They finally showed Q down in his dungeon making all the good shit.
Right. And this was the introduction for the DB5, the iconic.
And it wasn't even just
DB5.
like, hey, here's a DB5. It was like the introduction of the DB5 with all the dope shit,
Yeah.
And it's funny because they started this thing where you can kind of predict what is going to happen in the movie based on the Q scene.
What
Bond
Q
movie
gives them.
Oh, look, there's an ejector by. Oh, look, here's some missiles. Here's this oil slick, and you're like,
Right.
And
I wonder if that'll come up later.
I wonder why do I need this tracker? It's funny that they showed a lot more Q. They showed no Moneypenny.
She was in there a little bit.
Yeah, I guess the very beginning. Her and M were very little in this one.
I'm not gonna spoil any of the future ones, but that's kind of how these go. Especially like through Roger Moore.
Yeah, it gets rough there. But anyway, yeah, I know. And so with the Q branch, I wanted to say that the car chase was a lot better in this one than it was in the first two. Remember, they just had him like just chasing him like this, and then in this one they like were able to use like the gadgets.
Was it a little distracting? Like it clearly was in a green screen, like when Bond was driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the guys were in front of him and they're like really close. They're like, and then like they're like, oh, actually, because it was a green screen. Yeah.
Okay, so like I understand that like in this movie, Goldfinger was kind of working with the Chinese. Is that why all of his henchmen were Asian?
I don't know. Like, I also like the fact that they all wore big, bright yellow belts. That way you knew that they were the bad guys. Except if you want to run them over, you know which one you got to hit. Maybe they're all hired by Oddjob.
Can we talk about Oddjob?
Of course. Talk about Oddjob. Because I was going to bring him up later, but yeah.
I love Oddjob. Like, one, it's such a random, like, one, he kept randomly smiling. Like, I don't...
Yeah,
it was not funny.
Yeah.
Also, I almost, like, I watched this movie before. I almost felt like Oddjob was a fucking robot. Like, especially when Bond was fighting him at the end, because, like, nothing was taking him down. I'm like...
I was going to say, so my only thing about that fight was it went on so fucking long. I was like,
right.
I got to the point where I was like, man, we're still fighting here. I'm watching it, and I'm like, we're still going. He's getting thrown around like 10 times. I'm like, dude, this is the longest fight I've ever seen in my life. And like, I thought the Red Grant fight was pretty long in the train.
Right.
This was it was like 5 minutes, but he was would you say Oddjob's probably? I guess he's probably the first henchman, right? That's like pretty formidable.
Red Grant.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
who would win in a fight, Red Grant or Oddjob?
Probably Oddjob.
Just throw his hat at him, knock him the fuck out.
I don't know, like I feel like Red Grant was. I mean, he was an assassin, but like, I don't know, like, The only thing that took Oddjob down was the fact that he got fucking electrocuted.
Yeah, he got fucking zapped, bro.
I don't know. I was watching that. I was like, would he really have been shocked? That. Well, actually, no. He probably would have because his hat had metal. It was metal rim.
I get it was metal rim, but what was on the actual outside? Was it hat? Which doesn't make sense if you think about it, knocking things in half. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're like, yeah, it's sturdy. But like it's like if you had a wire, you know what I mean, like a thick wire, and you're like,
look, when you watch these movies, you just have to hit the I believe.
That is true because we're sitting here arguing about Oddjob when all the other shit's happening in the movie. Like Goldfinger going out of the plane.
That was so bad. Like the CGI was so bad.
I was trying to pause it where he loses his handle on Bond. And then starts flying in the middle of the plane, but his face is ridiculous. It's like woo, and and I was trying to pause it right on that frame because he just goes, oh, and then he just starts floating around, and then like it's
and then he's getting sucked out of the window, and you just see him they just kind of like shrank him, like
it looks like a fucking Three Stooges skit, like you just like. And then, like, you just... And I'm like, how does this fat ass get sucked through a fucking plane like that?
So this movie was pretty iconic. I mean, one, like... I don't know if the common, like, non-Bond enthusiast would remember the... you trying to get me to talk? No, I want... You want me to talk? No, I want you to die. But like that was iconic,
Oh, it was. I think everyone remembers. It's like one of the most quotable lines. I think this is probably, I would say like, bands when they come out with like their second album, everyone's like that's when they're kind of like going.
You would say this this is when
I think
Bond
so.
arrived?
I think so.
So it's funny you say that. So how much do you think this movie cost to make?
Probably I don't know numbers, but I'd say probably double, at least double from Russia with Love.
Okay.
Just based
so
on the fact that it was probably popular, you know?
So it cost $3 million, and it was, I believe it was double of what the first two movies cost.
Combined?
Do you know what it Yeah.
Jeez.
Do you know what it grossed?
I don't. I can look it up right now, though.
$125 million.
Yeah, that's pretty successful.
They spent $3 million on this movie and made 125.
What's the math on that? It's like they've made like 1,000%. You know what I mean? Like,
they did really well, and so yeah, this was. I agree with you. This was the Bond is here.
Before we get into the whole breakdown of like this, there's a few little threads I want to pull. Two things.
Okay.
The fact that during that Oddjob fight, Bond goes over to defuse this like bomb, this device. That's a nuclear. It's going to irradiate the gold. And my man's in there just grabbing every wire, every little thing. Like, ooh, I don't know, I should pull this or that. And I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, where is the isotope? But again,
you know what? You know what this reminded me of when I was watching this? So you know how Bond is, you know, he's 00, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And not to get into, you know, what we do or did or anything in the military, but you know how we have a lot of like rando trainings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that during his like 007 training, he had like a PowerPoint on like how to detonate a bomb?
Okay, so yeah, right. Okay, so look for this. But
that's the only thing I could think of that he was like, hey, maybe I should think about detonating this bomb.
Here's the funniest part though, is the guy at the end who was like, dude, it's this off switch.
Yeah, he literally just turned it on.
He's like, dude, no. All right, we're good.
Bond literally almost just
ruined the fucking. He almost blew everyone the fuck up, and they're like, wait, hey, look at that button. All right, we're good, bro. The one that says off, you should hit that one. It's like, oh god, the e-stop, pull the e-stop, you son of a bitch. Yeah, so like that was funny as fuck. I was like, man, this dude's just like, I'm gonna rip every fucking wire out, and then
right.
You mentioned the 00 training thing. I thought it was pretty cool that he name dropped like 008, you know, 005, I think it was, or 6. I can't remember. They said he's like, you know, if I die, 08's gonna come, and that was like kind of the first time they talked about other. Well, I guess no. I think did they talk about it in Doctor No? I can't remember, but also the laser beam. The laser beam speed was very fast, and then when it got to his nuts, it was like. You know, like so slow as the whole like.
It's starting to set up this whole like premise where like
he can't die. Yeah, you know, like that kind of.
Well,
shit.
yeah, of you know, these villains that just like speak words and have to tell you the plot because they're narcissistic.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like really like. If you want to fucking kill Bond, he's strapped to a fucking board. Shoot him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, the dude walks up like. Speaking of shooting in the head, the guy walks all the way up to him to shoot him with a tranquilizer. Like, bro, you have that bad of aim? He's like. I'm like, jeez.
And he got him in the ribs. Like,
yeah,
I
don't know where he's aiming.
Is that where you shoot someone with a tranquilizer?
I don't know. You always go for.
I thought you hit him in the neck.
Yeah, I always thought it was a neck thing, like right in the artery. You know.
I
guess this guy was like, I don't even know how to aim, and I was like, damn. The fucking he's being narcissistic. He's also like narcissistic when he's explaining his plan to his like investors, you know. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. Their portrayal of Americans in this movie. All those guys like, hey, now that's my money, you know, like I don't deal with Chicago. Us New Yorkers don't do. And I was like, their like accents were so aggressive, and they were portrayed as so idiotic that it was so true. It was so true. They were right. You know, I was like, damn. And then when they got in Kentucky, and I was like, it was just kind of funny. Everything was just the whole American scene was like over the top and
Yeah,
kind of
you
like
know,
satirical, you know, like. But
see,
then
and
it got kinda
I
funny.
don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I know James Bond doesn't do a ton of like in America. There's one that predominantly takes place in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's one of the Roger Moores. I'm gonna say "Live and Let Die," maybe.
And I actually, if I remember correctly, I actually really like that one.
Oh, I think I really hated that one. This would be fun.
No,
But I don't know if it was because it was like the first with Roger Moore, and you're just kind of like getting through that transition from Connery. You know, 'cause
the
it's hard.
early Moore was good, and
It's
you're
just
actually
hard.
gonna find, and you're actually gonna find out that you hate me because I tend to enjoy the Moore movies better than Connery. I mean, the later ones he did 7, you know, so the later ones suck, but like I'm definitely gonna
It's just
have.
hard. I guess I think every time they do it to go from one to the other. You know what I mean? Like it takes a
It wasn't hard to go from the worst Bond to the best
well,
Bond.
it was they differed. I think they took a different approach. If that makes sense. I guess
Well,
they
I
kind of
mean,
did with Connery.
They
and
could have done any approach. Pierce
They
Brosnan is
they
terrible.
they could have done. They did the opposite with Connery and Moore. You know, they went extra campy. But I don't know. We can get there when they.
I don't know, but have you noticed, like, rewatching these movies, like, Sean Connery said a lot of fucking cheesy lines that I don't remember. Like, I didn't remember, you know, when I watched these last, like, I definitely remember more being campy. I didn't remember how fucking campy and cheesy, you know, Sean Connery was.
Yeah, he said something. He said shocking when the dude he threw that like toaster in the whatever the fuck it was
Right.
in the tub. He said something else when Goldfinger died. It wasn't great. And, you know, things like that. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like you're kind of like, but that might be because it was just more subtle, and they didn't make a big point of being like, "Hey, look at this cheese dick shit," you know.
Again, like we don't have to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Also,
when we get into like Roger Moore, like
yeah,
I will point it out. There is a movie that I'm specifically remembering that like that was, you know, effectively Roger Moore jumping the shark, you know, and from there like they just that was it, you know, and then we had to suffer or endure through a couple more Roger Moore movies before we could get the most underrated and underappreciated Bond.
Well, I don't know. Don't you dare forget about my boy George Lazenby.
Man, I feel like we're really getting ahead. I don't hate him as much as anyone else does, and I still like.
No, I don't either. I just like again. That's another instance where like I think, you need at least 2 movies. I think to get really what kind of Bond they are, you know, and it's hard when they have one because then you just like, especially when it went back to Connery, I believe.
One more, yeah.
Yeah, so then you're kind of like everyone's like, oh, well,
he did
we'll
5.
Yeah,
I believe he did 5, and then they did one with Lazenby, and then he did one more, and I again, you know, just trying to remember, you know, when we get there, like I don't remember enjoying that Bond movie that they went back to him as much as Lazenby, you know, but. You know, I wasn't there in the 60s or 70s,
so I'm gonna read this. This is on Wikipedia. I found a like kind of a little breakdown of like what started in this movie.
Okay.
This is the first in the series relying heavily on technology, as well as the first to show a pre-credit sequence with only a only a slight link to the main story. Tangential. Which is basically in this one, it let him go to Miami, which is where he ran, you know. First of many appearances of a brief in Q Branch. allowing viewers to see the gadgets in development. Future Bonds will follow the basic structure, featuring henchmen with a particular characteristic. A Bond girl is killed by the villain. Big emphasis on the gadgets and more tongue-in-cheek approach while trying to balance action and comedy. I could say that.
Okay.
The success of this one kind of led to a lot of parodies of James Bond, it says. And for, obviously, more Bond. But yeah. I just wanted to say that's probably what, the most part. Like, so if you had to rate, let's rate the bad guy against the other two. And we're going to do this. We're going to rank the villain. We're going to rank the Bond girls. And then we'll rank the movie. As of the three. You know what I mean? Like, so this bad guy versus Dr. No and, I guess, Red Grant? Or do we say the chick?
I would go with Red Grant.
Rosa Klebb. What was her name? Rosa Klebb.
Yeah. Number 3, number 2.
For this one?
No, for
she was like number 3. Because number 2 is like never shown.
Okay.
All right, anyway. Main villain.
We'll say Red Grant. Was he that?
I want to say I'd say no. I want to say Red Grant is a henchman.
Okay. So it
would be Red Grant versus Audrey. I would say the main villain is the chick, Rosa.
Okay.
Because she said
as of right now, I would say Goldfinger, number 1, and then I would say the chick, number 2.
You just hate Dr. No. Look at you.
Yeah, I did not. No, I didn't get it. You know.
I think. I think Goldfinger, for me, I would say it is kind of funny when his plot isn't really like the other two where they're trying some world domination shit. You know, he's like, I just want to get rich.
Right.
You know, and then
I like gold.
I like gold. Yeah. So he's like dealing with that. I just think he was more cunning. He was more big fat guy. So right. I don't know. It was that menacing? You know, like it's a big dude, as opposed to. And I think the other chick, Rosa, was just more like puppeteering in a way, but she was also getting orders from Blofeld. Right? Number one. He didn't have a name yet. And Dr. No, I honestly think Dr. No is better than Rosa, so I think he's 2, just slightly.
Okay.
You know, he had his own layer, bro. You know, I don't know, like.
I just hated him. I'm sorry. I just did not like that movie.
So the chicks, the Bond girls. I don't know where to go with this one because I guess Pussy Galore is the Bond girl.
Pussy, yeah. I was thinking about that. I would say Pussy Galore. So like, I thought it was gonna be Tilly, but like I don't think you can be a Bond girl if James Bond doesn't fuck you. You know.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Because then so the last one was that Russian girl.
Yeah.
And then the first one was the
Tatiana. Was that her name?
Tatiana was in Russia, and then the first one was Honey Rider.
Yeah, and then the first one was the illiterate chick.
Yeah. Which so she gets marks for being like an OG, an original.
Sure.
Iconic scene coming out of the water kind of thing.
Right now, I would say Tatiana is probably number 1. Pussy Galore number 2. And then number 3 is the illiterate chick.
Wow. What do you know? Back on the Dr. No in the bottom. What about...
Yeah, but you know, it's funny because like I actually ranked Dr. No higher than... From
but everything, but all the aspects, the individual parts are not. Yeah,
maybe it was the gypsy fight. Like I could just never get behind that gypsy fight. Like, I don't know.
I think so I'm gonna go with this is tough, but I still think I don't like Tatiana's character because she's just kind of like a tag along. She's an escort mission. But she's 2. I guess Pussy's 1. Although,
Okay.
actually, you know what? No, I'm flipping him because Pussy could have been one if she would have not let that happen. Kick him in the balls, Pussy. I'm
All
Pussy.
right. So who's your number one?
Tatiana,
Okay.
and then
And then number
Pussy,
two's
and
Pussy?
and Honey Rider.
All right. So we're on the same page.
Yeah, the only reason is just because she doesn't really do much. I mean, she kind of like is there, but she just kind of, I don't know, her purpose.
All right.
I guess I look at it as if you take him out of the movie, their character completely doesn't change. And I think with Honey Rider, no, because he's still going to the lair.
Right.
And I think the second one is all about Tatiana. Like
Right.
that's the whole point. She's there to get him to get that decoder thing. And in this one, of course,
Yeah.
he needed to get Pussy to turn and foil Goldfinger's plans. Like if
Right.
she wasn't there, then he'd be still stuck probably.
Yeah. He'd
So-
probably be in a car, shot, and then smash.
Yeah, into a little cube. And somehow,
Yeah.
dude, thanks for bringing that up. What kind of fucking car is Oddjob driving that can hold another car in its trunk and drive back like nothing's wrong? The entire car and a body in the trunk. And also getting... All right, there's another thing about getting smashed like that. How big was the cube? I don't know. Like, let's just say like 2 foot by 2 foot. 2 by 2 by 2.
It wasn't very big.
So the body had to been smashed pretty small. I don't know about you, but if I was smashed into a cube, I bet all the blood in my body would probably be pushed out.
Right.
Where's the blood? It was just a metal cube, no blood.
You gotta hit the I believe, brother.
And then like the worst part was the fact that they put this whole car in the trunk of this like Chevy Impala looking thing and just rolled out like it was not even scraping, bro. Just straight up suspension. That's an ad for some suspension right there. The company who made that car is like, see what we can do?
I don't know. Oddjob is he's just one of those very iconic. He's not the most iconic henchman for me, but he's pretty high up there.
No, he's good. I just thought it was fucking funny. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, you want to rank henchmen now. We'll do henchmen, and I got another thing we can rank, and then we rank the movie. I know I just keep throwing
Oddjob, Red Grant, and then 3
blind mice.
Blind mice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the same.
Yeah.
I'd say the same. What about like settings, like the movie setting?
Okay.
Because we have 3 very different settings right now. We got Jamaica, we got a train, the Orient Express, kind of like Russia, right? And then we have America, pretty much.
Well, and also
Austria, Switzerland, and then
Yeah.
So this one's kind of the first one I think that kind of jumps around a little bit, but it's mostly like there's America, Fort Knox.
So as far as settings,
you gotta think about
I'm actually gonna say Doctor No. I enjoyed the Caribbean setting.
Okay.
And then number 2, I would probably say probably Austria and America. They jumped around quite a bit. And then number 3, Russia. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Potatoes.
I kind of like this one, Austria and America. Except for actually, I like the Austria part better, but the America part was just like they're at a fucking horse ranch, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But so I think, and then Jamaica over Russia from Russia loves third.
Yeah.
What else can you rank? Well, obviously the gadgets are better.
Yeah.
There's no gadgets in Doctor No, so that's bottom. And I think it just goes.
Well, I mean, obviously the cars are better.
He didn't even have a car.
Well, not in the second one. He did in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the car's better. There's no doubt about the fucking gadgets. The only gadget he had in Russia was the briefcase and the fake money.
Right.
Or was it real money? I don't know. And then there was nothing in Doctor No. So now rank the movie.
I will say number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number one, and then I will still go with Dr. No as number two, and then From Russia with Love, number three.
Wow.
Yeah. I know a lot of people liked From Russia with Love. I didn't feel it.
I think I'll go Goldfinger 1, From Russia with Love 2.
Yep.
And then Dr. No 1. And I don't hate... Or no, 3, sorry. I don't hate Dr. No, it's just... I do think there is a nice...
There's been a progression.
Yeah, I was going to say, this helps with, the fact that they're selling more. Like, if it keeps going like this, it's easier to sell the idea of, let's make another one with more money kind of thing. So, at least it's getting better and it doesn't go to me at least. I know to you didn't like 2. But I think, how much did you not like 2 compared to not liking 1? You know what I mean? Was it very close and 1 was just slightly less?
They were very close. You could
this
tell.
Is miles.
This movie was leaps and bounds.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, this one's superior in every way kind of thing.
It's kind of like having I'm trying to think of a band we listened to where you had the first album, it was completely kind of demo. Well, I mean, think of Brand New. Think of
I was gonna say album. But Brand New, the thing about Brand New, it's hard to say them because they have a different sound each time.
Sure, but I'm just saying think of the production of whatever, My Own Worst Enemy or whatever the fucking
your favorite one.
Yeah.
My Own Worst Enemy. That's lit, bro.
There you go. To Deja and Tendu, it completely, different production value, and how would you not, like that album? But that's probably for another another podcast.
You mean just another episode? There's no other podcast.
Sorry, another
this is
episode.
The only one. There's just different series. Yeah, this is stuff.
I think I'm starting to. For those who are not listening, I just got off of work, even though we are recording at about 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have a drink. I've been up all night, and I think I'm about to turn into a pumpkin. So
I feel bad for you. And I was thinking, it's crazy. I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, how much longer until he moves back up here? And I feel like you've only been there for a year.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it, he's only been gone for a year. I was like, fuck. I was like, surely he's about to rotate back up. No.
Unfortunately, no. But I will be up there when I'm up there.
Yeah. When I'm there, I'll be there, yeah. Any last closing remarks? Any?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Bonding with Bond will return for Thunderball.
There you go. Don't worry, Jin and Sopha's Bond. Yeah, well, you said it better.